What's up, Coach Kevin?
Hello.
I'm doing a little thing here. Oh, this is so cool.
What?
So, let's see. Let's see. So you guys could probably hear me chatting. Hold on, let me see if I can, let's get this over. Oh, there's Mr. Kevin. He's meditating. What's up?
Hello.
Who's your friend there?
Bob.
Bob?
I think all dummies' names are Bob.
You know what I really need is,
Pants.
yeah. Well, I am on Twitch too, but I haven't streamed anything because I'm not good enough on Hearthstone for anybody to actually want to watch me.
But you don't have to be good, you just have to be entertaining.
What's that?
You don't have to be good, you just have to be entertaining.
I think, you know what, if I could be entertaining, if only because, actually I wouldn't be the oldest person on that plays Hearthstone because there are a ton of,
Yeah.
usually they're good though, the older people who played Hearthstone are good.
Yeah.
The only thing that I've got going, is that I'm really good at rage quitting and cursing at not at my opponents, but some of them are some people are just, they need a slap.
You should go to, I don't know, places where you can get old broken TVs that don't look broken, and then put it in the background of whatever it is that wherever it is that you're playing. And then when you rage quit, just just throw it right at the TV.
That would be awesome. That's actually an excellent idea. I think that the only thing is that I have a suspicion. Wait. I have a suspicion that Hearthstone intentionally screws with you when you especially when you have a new deck. I have a theory or a suspicion that whenever you try to play a new deck on Hearthstone, is that they instantly either give you the mirror deck, they queue you up with a mirror deck, which means just the same deck,
Yeah.
or the counter deck, the deck that's designed
to
counter your deck, so that way.
Is it a set deck that you have to work with?
No. So there's the meta,
Yeah.
and so you can come up with any deck you want, but there are decks. There are usually about.
So you think they go through
10
your deck,
decks,
analyze it, figure out what type of deck it is, and then go and
Yes.
find the
Yes.
equivalent type.
I am convinced of it because there's also something weird that happens towards the end of the month where they tend to I went on this huge. I get so mad. I play once and they do that to me and I quit. Or sometimes I'll play 5 games and then I'll be quit because it just is ridiculous. But usually what happens is usually during the month is the general thing. The first 5 games you just get, or at least I get slugged.
right? It's just like the decks, or I don't get good draw, or like RNG, whether it's from the queuing or from the draw, sucks, right? I just get terrible. I get terrible draw. I get counter decks. I get mirrors. I play a lot of priests.
But you're playing other people,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, maybe. I mean, they could be bots for all I know,
Yeah.
right? But towards the end of the month, I go on these long win streaks.
Like right before you have to renew your subscription?
That would be truly, maybe, but it's more like, I think, I mean, and maybe this is the idea that the people who've already like made whatever they're doing have like, they're just taking a break, and therefore it becomes easier for schmucks like me who don't really know what we're doing.
Do you work towards goals then you get stuff?
Yeah, every month there's like what they call ladder, and so you start off at the bottom of the ladder, but you get credit, like you get like a head start, not a head start, you get a boost. Right? If you did last month and you did really well, you get a big not a head start, you get a big boost.
Yeah.
So like
it sounds like a head start.
It's not that you start ahead of everyone. That's why I didn't want to use head start. Yeah. It's not that you start ahead of people. It's that you have when you, let's say you win a game, instead of just, so usually what happens is like each level has so many stars, and you have to get so many stars to go to the next level, right? And so you want to get these stars, and that's, each star is basically a win. But if you keep getting stars, like you win 3 in a row, you double up your stars. Yeah. Okay. So if you just never played and you log on right now and you try to play, you'll get a star, and then you'll get another star, and then you'll lose a star, and then you'll get another star, another star, another star, and then you go up to the next level, then you lose a star, and then you go back up. And so it's kind of like
it's all the good people
concept. But what happens is if you've already gone through all that crap, right, and now you've made it to the top, which is called legend, right? You made it to legend.
Every month you have to do this?
Yes, but this is why it gets easier, is because if you've already gone through all that nonsense and you've already gotten to, like usually I get to high diamond, which is the next level. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's the one level below legend, which is really hard. So this is what happens. You get all these stars and you can't lose rank. So basically, like I win that first game, I get 9 stars. So I jump 3 ahead, 3 levels ahead. Yeah. And then the next game that I win, I get another 9. And then the next game that I win, I get 18 stars or whatever. It's not really 18, it'll be whatever, 16 or 15. And then they boost you up even. So you just get kind of like extra credit for each win. Yeah. So you can jump through the ladder really quickly. So that's giving you the incentive to go and play that month. So you don't have to do this all again the next month. Because if you don't do it,
But you do have.
But it's shorter. It's shorter. So that's why people who make legend regularly are like in the first 2 days. They'll do it in the night because they play 100 games a day. Which is I can't play 10 games a day. I get tired and bored and mad. Yeah. That's fun. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu. It's kind of like jiu-jitsu, right? Like if you've been training all the time. Oh yeah. When you come in, like let's say you go on vacation, right? But you've been training all the time. You go on vacation, come back. It's easier for you to get back into the swing of things. Yeah. Right? Because you kind of know what you're doing, and then you have the belt around your waist, so people are kind of like a little more cautious about pissing you off, right? If you're more senior.
There's an idea that, I don't know how to put it, like success accumulates or snowballs.
Yes.
Right? Like if you, like the more you put in, like it'll add on to like the next week's work, which will add on to the next week's, and like a compounding interest type thing, right?
I think that's true. That's definitely true in a lot of different ways, like professionally. Yeah,
I agree with languages as well.
There you go.
Like if you spend 10 hours a week learning a language, you're gonna get like pretty far. But if you spend 20 hours a week, you're gonna go further than twice the first guy. Cause like it's
up to a point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like if you spend all of your time, you're gonna learn maximally. Like, the more you do it, the better, the more it kind of adds on to itself, I think.
Up to a point.
Well, you only have so many hours in a day. So
but you can also burn out, and you can also like.
Yeah, but if you don't,
Or you'll just get complete mastery, right? Like I know Italian, like.
Yeah. Well, have you seen the video on YouTube of the guy who like sits down and learns like French or something in 12 hours? He's just like this language genius. But like it's the same idea. He's already learned 2 languages. The third one.
Well, I knew this with this person when I was in England, and she was not unique in this. But I remember I think she was Norwegian, and she could speak like 7 languages. Like English,
Norwegian.
Norse. I guess it's Norwegian.
I don't think Norse is a language.
No, I think it maybe. I don't know. Anyway, she could speak Swedish. She could speak Finnish, which I think is different. Don't quote me on these. She could speak German. She could speak. What else could she speak? I think she could speak Russian.
Nice.
And then I remember I ran into her and she was reading a book and it was in Spanish. And I already knew that she knew all these other languages. So I was like, you didn't tell me you spoke Spanish. And she's like, oh, I don't. I just can read it because I can read Italian, so I can read Spanish. Right? And so she was like, so I'm like, so how many languages can you speak? Right? That you're fluent in. She's like, oh, I don't know if I'm fluent, but I can get around in about 7 languages.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how many can you read? And she's like, well, probably about 10, 11. I was like, man. And I also had this guy who was German in school. He was a philosophy professor. And he spoke and could read like 12 or 15 different languages. Now he was 77, like some odd years old when I met him.
Yeah.
But I remember he told this story about this book in Russian that he wanted to read.
Yeah.
And he didn't know, so he spent 5 years learning how to read Russian, so he could read one book.
Is it the Dostoevsky? What was it?
I don't know, it was some Russian philosopher.
Yeah.
But he was, his name was Dr. Kokolins. That was his name. And I remember him because every time he would, like during class, he would start coughing, and we all thought, at least I thought, he was going to die right there.
Yeah. I had this old professor at IU who...
Norwegian, okay, not Norse. Thank you. All right, Cameron.
Oh, I need to show Cameron the move.
What's the move?
The slot machine. But first...
Not on me, you're not going to show a move called the slot machine.
I can't.
I don't know, it sounds terrible. Why don't you show him the dummy?
Because the dummy's lame.
Is it, are you
I
going to like...
I could do it on the dummy, it's fine.
Don't slot machine me.
Yeah, I knew this professor who taught one of my East Asian philosophy classes or something, and he could read, he spoke fluent Mandarin, and also like written Chinese, and also
That's the hard part.
ancient Chinese.
Yeah, that's
That's
incredible.
Shumenyu is like very difficult, at least compared to the speaking language. Anyway, so the slot machine one that I was trying to explain was we're in this omoplata here, and then if you can get a hold of this arm here, then you get to.
Oh man, why do they? Oh, because it's a arm, like the Joker's wild.
Yeah, like ding, and then yeah, it like attacks the pack in the shoulder, and it's just like tearing a drumstick off a turkey. It's
That's
very-
gross.
James Klingerman, I think, showed this to me via the internet one time. I forget why we were talking about that, but
About the slot machine?
yeah, we were on a Signal group chat, and then we saw that there was someone posted.
You know, that's what I need for this, because I can't read it. I need something that will read it out loud for me. But will like some sort of text to speech.
I've seen those in different contexts.
But I would want it to be like have different voices for different people.
Mm-hmm.
How cool would that be? You know what? Any developers out there, or people who actually know the internet better than me?
You're gonna end up.
I need a mod. I do need a mod.
That's a bad idea unless you have.
I need somebody up there reading these and feeding them to us.
Because what I've seen is ideas like that, which are good when they start to get hijacked, and then you end up getting a bunch of messages being read out loud to be read out loud, and that's fun.
Well, this one apparently, I was reading it very quickly because I just set this up. I wanted to get something. I remember seeing something about this cross-platform chat feature on Restream, and I was reading about it. It says they have some sort of AI moderation so that you don't get as many trolls and unwanted
raids,
whatever bots on your stream.
Yeah.
But I'm like super psyched be streaming cross-platform and chatting cross-platform. I feel like I have a real sense of accomplishment right now.
Really?
I do. I feel like I've achieved something. Just because I figured out how to install this stuff on my computer and make it run.
That's pretty good.
And I did it in about 5 minutes. So kudos to the Restream engineers who made it so foolproof that even I could get it to work. Earlier today, for the purposes of comparison, or at least to illustrate how clueless I can be, I couldn't get my microphone to work because I had plugged the microphone cord into the wrong socket. It was a microphone socket, but it just wasn't the correct one.
Yeah.
But it took me.
There wasn't like a difference in the sizes. Like
No, they're all. There's three. What do they call them? They're the
Rails.
5 or 6 pin microphone. Maybe it's 4 pin microphone
thing.
jacks. I don't
Yeah.
know. And so there's 3 of those on my preamp, and I just jacked it into the wrong one, and it took me a little while to figure out what I had done. What are you doing there, Coach Kevin?
I was gonna deadlift a little bit maybe.
That looks really dangerous.
Yeah. I'll do it away.
Ooh, you know what I got today? I got my bench. I set up my bench today. My big workbench.
Your
Yes.
nice. How
Talking about slot machines.
is it rated for as big as you wanted?
I'm glad I did not get the 500-pound version.
I thought you were looking at the 3,600-pound version.
No, so that's the weight that it can carry.
Yeah.
So the one that I was originally gonna get could bear 20,000 pounds. And it was gonna weigh 550 pounds. So the one that I actually went up getting, because it would cost, so that doesn't actually, you can get one of these tables for like $500, but it costs $500 to get shipped to you because it weighs 500 pounds.
Yeah.
So, and it was gonna take a month. So I ordered off of Home Depot, which actually wasn't Home Depot, I think it was Lowe's. But anyway, this one weighed probably 250 pounds, and that was more than enough for me. And setting it up was, you're hurting your back, dude. What are you doing?
What?
Man, you're making my back hurt.
Why?
Because you're backing it.
What do you mean back here?
You're doing that.
Maybe.
Yeah. You need to sit back, get your butt back.
I'm working on it. I'm doing the thing. Good.
I mean, that's a lightweight setup for you. It's probably not going to matter. But it actually brings me to my subject of the day, which is what everyone has to look forward to. But at some point.
So you're talking about old age?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
This is not middle-aged jiu-jitsu. This is like old-age jiu-jitsu.
Old age jiu-jitsu.
Cautionary tales and making sure you take care of yourself. I was watching this video. Same guy who was talking about the self-defense thing that you were making fun of the other day. But he was saying that all of his major injuries, like nagging chronic injuries, have all come from jiu-jitsu. Like he's not a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, though. He's trained. He's more of like a.
Was he
He's the whip guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he does like a lot of self-defense. But he's more of like I think skews to striking. But I've seen him. He knows how to do jiu-jitsu. He knows how to fight. But anyway, he was like, striking-wise, he's gotten concussed, but really all the long-term damage on his body has been through jiu-jitsu, and specifically his lower back. And what else he's hurt? His neck. All that stuff. And I think, I certainly have hurt pretty much every major part of my body, every major joint or slash muscle group, not catastrophically. Like I haven't separated my shoulder, or I haven't, separated a bicep. Like sometimes you tear your biceps.
Yeah.
You see people who've done like
Pecs.
blown out their knees. I have never had a major, knock on wood, I'm totally tempting fate right now. I've never had a major injury that has required surgery.
Yeah.
And so I always thought, hey, I was doing all right. But now I get injured more often from doing things like stretching than I do actually anything else. Like when I throw my back out, I was just stretching. I wasn't doing anything like really rigorous. I was just stretching, and this is not the first time it's happened. And especially like, when I stretch like this, that's no problem. I could do that all day. What I was doing was arching back.
Yeah, I've seen.
Like any of this kind of back, like sometimes like I've thrown out my neck by like looking by driving, right? I turn and I like stretch.
Yeah.
That is, it's like it's an interesting thing to think about, because I think we tend to fold ourselves a lot, right? And that is like a relatively common and easy. It'll be bad on your back sometimes if you really get like clamshell, but really hard. But I think I have so much flexibility this way, or kind of ease of like movement.
Yeah.
But
you almost
these types of like looking behind you, and I've been doing, what's interesting, I've been doing a lot more of those lately. And you know, on the theory that it would help me stretch out and, you know, balance my body. And you know, my back was, I can still feel how tight it is in my back. Sorry, that's all right. And I've always been also, you know, I don't feel like I've like abused my body in any specific way, other than like I probably eat like crap, or have eaten like crap quite a bit. But I'm not like the, you know, I'll never tap, or you know, like I'll never, like I don't do, like I'm not that kind of
purposefully stupid.
Well, I mean, there's kind of stubborn, right? This the stubbornness of,
that is,
you know, it's not over until something breaks,
yeah.
Or, you know, I'm not sure if it's going to break, but it's really painful. I used to do that. I used to be that way.
I still do that.
But, you know, when you get older, now this I can only speak to myself, right? I don't know how many, I mean, jiu-jitsu generally skews young, right? It's not, you don't see too many 50, 60, 70-year-olds. There's a few. Certainly 70, you don't see 70-year-old guys training very often. I've seen some 60-year-olds. Some of these guys are total studs, right? Like they're still going strong at 60. But
all the 60-year-olds that I know who trained were told to stop after a certain time because it was shredding their back.
yeah, it's I mean, I can tell you, you know what? It's the neck is okay. Actually, my neck, usually my neck, my upper shoulder, like my shoulders and my neck have traditionally been a pretty painful experience overall, all the guillotines and the things like that. But the lower back has definitely been the kind of the look, and my hips too. I think my hips, my lower back.
The thing about
I don't know what I get. This is all a sort of long windup to like. I don't know that I've actually could have. I mean, I'm sure I could have done a lot more strengthening exercises, but it seems like pretty much like at some point your stuff starts falling apart, no matter what, how much you know. You may hasten it, or you may kind of delay it,
Yeah.
but it's kind of, I wonder if it's not the cost of doing business in jiu-jitsu, right? It's just kind of like your hips, your back are going to pay a price after 30 years, or 20, 30, 40 years, you know, and depending on how much mileage, you know, are you a competitive athlete? Did you ever like venture into MMA? I think MMA is probably easier on your hips and your back than jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu is like,
knees.
maybe not knees, yeah, you're right.
I'll give knees.
But the fights stop, they seem to stop, well, I mean, I'm just overgeneralizing, it's not true.
Depends on how you train with MMA. If you're like banging every week, you're probably gonna get it.
yeah.
But like you can train safely, and you can train safely with jiu-jitsu. Like if you're prioritizing health and safety, you won't sustain, I believe, like you should be able to avoid any like grievous injury.
Yeah.
But I do agree, like there's a tendency to get like, especially if you train a lot. If you train like every day,
Yeah.
you're gonna generate that wear and tear.
The thing is with training every day, especially as a school owner, where I mean, it's not like I train high frequency, but it's not like I had hard training sessions every day, but you can't really always avoid them either. It's not like you can, when you're here all the time, or you train all the time, you're not taking days off. In fact, it's kind of like you're taking pride in the fact that you're not taking days off, right? That, hey, I have an opportunity here to train all the time. I might feel like crap, or I might have a nagging injury or whatever, but that's not going to keep me off the mat, right? Maybe I'll train light today, or I won't train with the big dudes, or whatever it is. But you're still, because you're not resting, you're not really recovering, you're just kind of like, you're training around the injury, which I often say you should, but
Depends.
it depends, right? And it's, again, it catches up to you. I think of it as like a toll road, right? Or like you're driving down and you come to a bridge, right? It costs how much money to go over the bridge?
Yeah.
$5, $10, whatever it is.
However much.
And I remember I grew up in Connecticut, and sometimes you would have, like, you get the card when you get on the turnpike, and it would have the different prices for whatever toll, where the toll you got on compared to whatever the mileage was to get to the next toll, the 25 tolls down the road, and they'd have different prices. Jiu-jitsu is like that, but there's no prices on the menu, right? Like it's like ordering from a menu, and you don't know what the prices are. Because you don't know what the toll is going to be when you get the bill.
Not necessarily, because if you talk to people, you can get an idea of like what techniques are more dangerous than others, right? Like I remember when I was coming up, I ran into 2 or 3 people, I think, black belts, who would all pop their ribs doing the clock choke from the gi. When the person's turtled up,
yeah, and they pop their ribs.
And then like as you turn around, it puts a great deal of pressure on your own ribs.
I caught my rib from from knee cutting someone.
Yeah, right? And then like things like this, you just keep your ears open.
Anytime you twist.
As soon as I like heard the second or third person, I just stopped doing that move, right? Like I just like cut it out of the equation.
Well, the thing is like there may be certain moves that that are more likely than not, but like I pop my rib going relatively slow, doing something I've done a million times, and I mean the rib is like, actually last month when I was really sick, I threw up and I re-popped my rib from throwing up, like, so not like super bad, just hurt for like a couple days, like was sore. It didn't like pop.
Yeah.
But you don't really, I mean, again, I don't know. 5 years from now, this could be a source of unending agony. Who knows, right? You just don't know.
But you also don't know if that rib popped or whatever it is popped because of jiu-jitsu, or if like it was that day, like probably
jiu-jitsu had a pretty big reason.
Probably.
Or a contribution to that.
Maybe you just have weird ribs.
My ribs have usually been pretty okay. I've never really had any issues with them other than in jiu-jitsu.
Let's see, what else? Rules that I have.
Yeah, what are your rules?
If I can help it, don't twist, don't turn, right? Like, I learned this actually when I wrestled in 7th grade, right? Like the rule.
Don't reach back.
Don't reach back.
Yeah,
right?
don't reach back.
There's nothing back there for you.
Just pain and suffering.
Yeah, and even if there is something back there that you can grab, now your spine's all twisted up, you're gonna be weak as shit. Like there's no point. You just compromise yourself. So like spinal alignment's really, really key. The one problem that I have, because I have conflicting values here, right? There are 2 principles that I follow. One, posture is essential in jiu-jitsu, right? Maintaining your own posture and breaking down the other person's posture. 2, staying round is essential in jiu-jitsu, right? And
These are contrary ideas.
Yeah, and it's hard because like it is an essential idea. Like the idea when we're playing guard, we want to sit forward.
Yeah.
And we want to be able to like be round so that when we move, we can conserve momentum and not like run into the floor. So what happens is there are times when it's good to be round, and there are times when it's good to have good posture. And if you make the mistake of doing one when you should do the other, you could lead to.
Or sometimes they just beat you to the punch, and you're trying to be round, and then they flatten you out.
Yeah,
and you get,
especially if you're like here and you have like some sprawl on you, like
they cradle you,
So you've got to be careful, like especially if you're working with big guys. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah, you don't want to be too far forward. Yeah.
But I don't know, it's risky. Jiu-jitsu is a contact sport. You can't control all aspects of it at all times, and if you don't want to be injured, maybe sports aren't for you.
Well, you're going to get injured, right? Like there's no sport there's no physical activity that does not carry risk.
Also fingers, right?
Fingers.
I keep my fingers in my hands usually.
I like to go right for the eyes.
Well,
That
like,
always wins.
there are times when like if I plant my hand like this and someone rolls, I'm gonna break all my
that's
fingers
101.
off,
That's
right?
Jiu-Jitsu 101.
So if I do plant, I plant, but then I take my fingers out and I don't.
That's the one thing that's good about no gi is that generally your fingers don't get caught in the gi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting go of grips soon. That's
Yes.
usual, right? Like not holding on to grips to death, because then you get all like elder wand fingers and tendinitis. That
Yep.
sucks.
And if you get arthritis, it's going to be bad news for you and your hands.
Yeah.
It's bad news. It's bad news even if you don't do any jiu-jitsu.
Other things. Oh, if someone's twisting your knee, don't fight it. Like it's not
Yeah.
worth it. It's just there's nothing like unless you're competing and you think that fighting it would help you win the match, then maybe. But even then, probably not worth it.
You know, the thing is that I think happens in jiu-jitsu, and I'm guilty of this, is that there's a certain point where you're training and someone does something that is more or less correct, right? Like they have a good technical attack or response or whatever it is, counter, and you decide that you're gonna stick them.
Stick them.
You're just gonna I'm just gonna put my knee down, or I'm gonna put my chest down, or I'm gonna fight.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna
I'm gonna disregard this person's thing. I'm gonna do my own.
I'm gonna impose my physical, power.
Yeah.
Right? And
Just like switch the hips on them. Like.
or just I'm just gonna squeeze in, or I'm gonna close this distance. I'm gonna try to flatten out, and when it's like the knee thing, right? Like someone's putting the hook in and you turn your knee, right? Like you turn, like you're attacking their hook almost.
Yeah.
You're just I'm not accepting. I
That's
don't want to
dangerous
give you
game.
what you want. I don't respect it, almost.
That's the dangerous.
And that is dangerous,
Yeah.
right? You get into a habit of forcing
Yeah.
things as opposed to using that momentum or using that movement or whatever. And I know it's not we're not in a movie where we can just use every little bit of energy against the other person, but that's where I've gotten hurt, is when I kind of insist on maintaining a position, even though the other person's doing something that's pretty good.
I've been in situations where I physically can't do something, and then I insist myself.
Yes.
And then I pop my own rib,
Yes.
or I break my own knee. Oh, other rule. When you're doing triangles, right? Let's say I'm trying to.
My rule is just don't do triangles.
Well, if I'm doing a triangle here, and let's say I can't lock this foot into my knee,
Yeah.
I don't come in here, grab,
Oh,
and
you will.
pull this in.
No, why not?
Because that puts a lot of lateral pressure on my knee.
Oh, come on, that's why you have 2 knees, Kevin.
I've heard stories of people popping their own knees trying to pull triangles in, or really any situation where I feel like I have to pull this and move it laterally this way. I'll do this way. This way is fine because that's how my leg naturally moves. If I have a triangle here, I'll just grab, right? But
Yeah.
I'm never gonna grab and pull in, right? That's part of the reason why I also don't really play rubber guard. Not that it's bad. There are ways you can help mitigate that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Rules. What are the rules?
I think you can follow all those rules and still wind
Oh,
up
yeah.
a broken shell.
But these are the rules that I created.
You'll
for myself
prolong, right?
after-
You will prolong your relative. I mean, when you do jiu-jitsu, you always have some pain, right? You always have some sort of nagging injury. You always have some sort of soreness. You always have some sort of thing, right? That kind of is bugging you. I think there's some muscle pull. There's some something, always something. Or you could just be sore and tired from a hard training session, or a lot of training sessions. That was scary. But you can prolong your relatively pain-free existence in jiu-jitsu by following these rules. Yeah.
Maybe not these. You can borrow these rules if you want. These are the rules that I've made for myself.
You do a lot of dumb stuff too, though, but only because you could get away with it because you're so good technically.
Well, I do dumb stuff.
You do dumb stuff.
Define.
Stuff that you don't have to do.
What do you mean?
That there's no actual reason for you to do them. You just do them because it's fun.
What do you mean? Like what?
I mean, I think I'm trying to think of an example.
I can think of several right now, but I'm not going to.
I think you know what I'm talking about in terms of imposing something that, or doing something that probably you shouldn't be doing.
What? Wait, what?
Well, how do I put this, right? Like there are techniques that you can get away with because the other person is not as good as you, or is smaller than you, or
I
is...
thought you were talking about like, I do things that like, I can only get away with because I'm like hurting someone.
No, I don't, I mean...
That I don't like. You might be right, but...
I mean, I mean, there's gratuitous stuff that you just kind of like, you get away with because you're gonna hurt the person, or, but I don't even think it's that. I think it's like training with the kids. You can let the kids get away with a lot of stuff, and you can get away with a lot of stuff because you're bigger, you're more experienced, you know, you're setting up for whatever, but you would never, you probably would never try to actually do that against somebody who was like your peer, or your peer group of jiu-jitsu.
I tried that flying guard past Kimura at Fight to Win.
You did, and you wound up in a triangle for 10 minutes.
I got out of that triangle, and I had him in a knee bar by the end of that match.
You did, the last 10 seconds.
Last 10 seconds, but I was
That's
there.
true. That's true.
And I learned from it, and now that's on my rule book.
No flying Kimuras in the triangles. I mean, that was kind of between the first 15 or 30 seconds and the last 30, like that minute of time in that match were actually very exciting. Those were very exciting. That's a very exciting minute.
If you wanted,
the 8 minutes in between. Yeah, well, there was no way he was going to let go of that triangle. Like, no one in their right mind would have let go of that triangle.
See, I should have slammed him. I should have.
And he was like, he was kind of getting it a little bit tighter.
It was tighter. I wasn't worried.
I was worried.
I'm like probably too comfortable with triangle defenses though. It's one of my.
Well, it's just a good example of like, you can be very good at triangle defense, but when you get into competition, being good at triangle defense is not, like, it's important, right? Like, you get caught in a triangle, you should be able to get out.
But it's not an ideal strategy.
But it's not, you know, I'm just going to let them put me in a triangle and then work my way out.
Sometimes
it's
it
probably
works.
not the best.
Sometimes,
that's true. It's not the highest percentage.
It's not the best.
You know who I've never seen let people put them into a triangle, a fully locked on triangle? Anyone.
What?
And anyone who's good. Any of my idols of jiu-jitsu.
I saw Andre do it against a couple of guys when he was training with them.
Yeah, the white belts, right?
No, it's like Israel. What's his name?
Oh, Adesanya.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
just
come
playing
on.
around.
Yeah.
All right. Thought I'd take him. Thought it would be fine. Thought it
But-
was a good idea.
You know, the person who actually I kind of identify a lot with is, it's just weird, is John. Whoa, you okay?
Yeah.
You know, John had major back issues and hip, you know, he had a hip replacement. And now his body's totally wrecked.
Yeah.
And now he, you know, like he was a feared and respected guy for a long time at Enzo's, like on the mat. He was just a total beast.
Yeah.
And not a beast in the sense of like, you know, he could jack people up, but in the sense of, you know, just able to basically beat almost anybody who wasn't like an A-level guy.
Yeah.
You know, a top guy. Or at least go head to head with them, with you know, respectively.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
you know, I don't think I ever saw John get majorly injured while rolling.
But he's like majorly injured now.
Well, he has a hip, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't, you know, when I look back and I think back of John, I mean, he was involved he trained with a lot of really, really, really good people. And he's not really in a lot of danger.
Yeah.
Most of the time against top guys, because they don't need to like beat you up in order to beat you,
Yeah.
right? The only exception I would say to that is, that comes to mind is Braulio, who would rip your foot off if you were a black belt and you put your foot on his stomach, he would rip it off, like hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just his general deal or if that was because he was training for Abu Dhabi. But
Maybe you just didn't like your friend.
anyway, but you know, like I never really saw John, you know, get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big, solid. I mean, he wasn't huge, but he was like very strong, solid guy. He's like one of these guys who's like, you don't move them. right? Like he's just a block of granite type of and he's like a vice, right? When he put his hands on you. But you know, I don't know what I'd love to talk to him about it. You know, what he thinks he could have done to avoid that, if anything. Sometimes it's just like a congenital thing that, you know, at some point you're gonna get arthritis or some condition in your hips or your shoulders or your neck.
Did he play rugby before coming?
I think he said something about how he got his leg injured. You know, I never heard about his injured leg until, you know, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I knew he had major back issues because, you know, he couldn't train for stretches of time at Enzo's because of his back. But I didn't know it was because of his leg. You're gonna hurt yourself on cross-platform. You're gonna people on Facebook and YouTube are gonna see you injure yourself.
That was not bad. It's
That
so
was
wobbly.
terrible.
And the floor is very slippery. So
Yeah, it's not a good thing. That's
doing
probably
it's
something that would tell you
a
that you
bad
shouldn't do it.
idea, is what people call it, but it's why I don't talk to people.
But I'd like to hear if anybody has any ideas. Like, I guess hip replacement is the one thing. Let's see if people have weighed in at all.
My dad got a hip replacement, and he
Oh.
had bad knees.
Oh,
and
thanks for letting me know, Stefan.
That's why I don't run now. That's not true. I ran a little
Connie says that was really bad.
bit. Hey,
Bad idea. That looked real bad.
no, that was not terrible. It was really terrible.
Let me see if I can go back onto
This isn't a lift I do very much.
what the.
Also,
Let's
it's
see here.
heavier than I used to do.
Where's my Facebook? Oh. So this is interesting because Stefan, I can see maybe it stopped. Yeah, thanks. I'm getting. If Bill's still there, Bill, I'm totally getting fat. So thank you. It's weird because I can see some people talking on Facebook. Here's Jeff. So maybe it's just Facebook that can talk on there. I guess if Facebook stuff is not coming through here, maybe. Let me see. Yeah, I can just see the YouTube people. Let me see. How's Facebook doing here? Are we still? No, don't do that. I hit the wrong button. It's Facebook. Oh, what happened? I hit Final Cut Pro by accident.
What's our reopening schedule? Idea?
We should talk about that, huh?
'Cause,
So
like,
we're red now. We're in the red zone.
red now.
We're
thought we
red.
were
I think
tomorrow.
today we got moved over to red.
Oh.
So that means we're 10%. So what I'm thinking is, I want to start the kids' classes up on Monday. Back to like the typical.
Dummies.
Yeah, we're gonna have to because we're only gonna have like 5 kids, or I think it's like we're limited to 5 people. So maybe have if we can get 5 people in here, or at least 5. Like if there's brothers and sisters, they can work together in one spot like we did. And then for the adults, maybe we should start getting the adults ready, for drill classes in
In
afternoons
the evening.
and the evenings, something like that.
Afternoon. Do you mean?
But I think Monday we need to so I need to send for the kids. I need to set a class schedule. I need to send the surveys out. I'll work on that tonight, and sending surveys out to just see who wants to come and then making reservations.
Okay.
And then hopefully. We're going to continue on this trend, but we may not, right? Like, because there's already, they said that the pace of, what's the word? That because we've been, the pace has slowed in terms of hospitalizations, and now it's kind of stalling out because we have all these variants.
So. Okay.
So I mean, what they're essentially saying is we could get another wave.
We're at
a 4th wave.
We're at a steady rate. We're not.
Right now we're going down, right?
We are.
Like we had gone down, so that's why we're in red.
Is the rate going down, or is the rate even?
Well, I guess it depends on where you are, and I don't know what Santa Clara. I mean, it's always a couple days or whatever behind because the numbers aren't real time.
Yeah.
But I'll have to do some digging to see where we are. I think Santa Clara. I mean, I've heard that there's not enough, the vaccine demand is high, and so it's not like other places where anybody can get a vaccine.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people just aren't getting it. So people are trying to get the vaccines here. I think again the hospitalization rates I know are way down, but yeah, I don't know whether the rate is going to drop to the point that, or continue dropping to the point that they'll move us into the orange, which is 25%, and then yellow, which is 50%. But we'll reopen. My date now is Monday, just so we can set everything up and make sure we have spots and people are able to reserve the spots and the times. But yeah, that's my goal is Monday. And I think what will happen is, I can't just go back to where we were because we had been at 25%. And so I can't just be like, okay, everyone that had signed up, just come back. Because we won't have enough space. Right? So I have to go back and say, okay, who wants to come back in? I've already had some people who've expressed their interest, for kids classes and things like that. I may only do one, depends. We'll see what people want, right? I may only do one kids class, and then we may have just people able to come in and do drills through the, for whatever, from 6:30 or whenever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. The streaming, if we go back to that schedule, we'll stream the adult drill classes, just so there's something, because it's easy enough to do it, and we'll be here.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to stream. It may not be at 5:15 anymore, because that'll be probably a kids class, maybe. We'll see, but we'll figure it out. I'll have an announcement on that sometime this week. Figure it out. So yeah, and we may extend the drill periods, right? Because before it was there was we do it from noon to whenever. So maybe we'll let just people come in. It won't be. Maybe we'll see what happens. We'll just play it by ear. But whether people want to have instructional drilling, right? Or if they just want to come in and drill, because some people they're couples or they're married or they're whatever, and they can train with each other with no problem. They're in the same social bubble, if you will. And so I may be able to let them have a little more leeway and let them train than other people who are just coming in off the street. They don't have somebody to train with, and they get a dummy or whatever they want to do.
Does it have to be family, or could individuals select?
Well, I'm thinking of we have some kids, and they have 4 or 5 of they're all friends. They've all been hanging out with each other.
Yeah.
I could just let them train. Give them a half hour or 45 minutes for them to just come in and train with each other. Yeah. Because they're all part of the same social. They all hang out together. What I can't have is you can't have 10 people in here, 15 people, because then you're so far over the limit that it'll attract some scrutiny, potentially fines. People get upset, as we know. I get nasty phone calls.
Yeah. We should just start snitching on everybody around us so that nobody wants to come here. They're just going to be busy everywhere else. All the other places have all these complaints, and then we could just.
I don't think that's how it works.
Just keep the doors open. As long as nobody files complaints against us, it'll be fine.
Yeah, but that's the problem. We have people that will complain about us.
Yeah, it's true.
That have already complained about us.
Yeah.
So.
Probably not that plan then. That'll be good. Okay.
Yeah, so I think Monday is when we kind of, is my goal for, who knows who will come in, Last time, even at 25%, we didn't have full classes. We had some classes that were full every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I know there are certain people who are really chomping at the bit to get back in.
Mm-hmm. So,
I want to make it available to them that they can come in and we'll work with them. But, in terms of the regular class schedule, I'll try to make for the kids it's easy enough. For the adults, it might have to be a little bit more fluid about, just making sure that we don't have too many people in here at once. I don't know. But
are we doing Saturday classes?
For kids or adults?
Yes.
Yeah, both.
Are we?
I think for the kids, maybe. If there's interest, I'll have a Saturday class.
Okay.
For adults, if there's interest, we can have a Saturday class or like open mat-ish type of thing that people can come in and drill and work whatever they want to do. Again, like the thing is like all the, the mask rules are still in effect, the social distancing rules are still in effect. You have to respect that, because if you don't, then they'll come in, right? Like if someone's just like, hey, I saw some people going into this place, that doesn't really attract that much scrutiny. But if someone comes in, right, and then they're like, oh, I want to do jiu-jitsu, I've never done it before, and then they come in and then there's nobody's wearing a mask or whatever, having social distance, people are just training, that person is liable to go and if they complain, hey, I saw them, they're not doing anything, they're not complying at all,
Yeah.
they're totally flouting all the rules. So that's going to be a high priority for whoever's enforcing this stuff. I guess it's the whatever.
County.
I don't know who at this point is enforcing what,
Yeah.
but it's they just come in and they shut you down, and then we're back to worse than we were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then people get pissed and then you get a fine. I don't know even if you can get a warning,
Yeah.
or you just get shut down.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah, thanks, Obama. Definitely Obama's fault. But I think people should look at the reopening, even at a limited thing, as an opportunity to get back on the mat, at least do some drills.
Get back into
the frame of mind of training. I know, I haven't. This has helped, right? Like just doing push-ups and sit-ups and whatever exercises, just getting on your feet and doing stuff. It helps, but being able to come in with a wider community and actually do some real structured drilling,
Yeah.
is going to be a better thing than just not doing anything. Watching us on TV, I know, or streaming on YouTube is great.
Yes.
And maybe we'll start doing some more instructional stuff. I don't know. My whole thing has always been about my kids. They have to stay home, I get in trouble. Like if anybody in the family gets it,
Yeah.
then we all are out for 2 weeks. Well, they're out for 2 weeks, which means they stay home for 2 weeks. And then everyone gets mad at me if I'm the one who's like the culprit, right? So, and then we expose everyone to school, which is another problem. Not good. So, I've tried to be conscientious about that.
Does the
From
fact
my
that
end.
I haven't gotten COVID yet mean that I'm a loser?
You're a loser?
Yeah.
You're a loser anyway. It doesn't matter whether
but
you
like,
get
is
COVID
this
or not.
proof?
What?
Is this proof? I'm so
COVID's probably like, we don't want to be part of you.
I'm so far away from like
Cool people that get COVID.
Tom Hanks, right?
Well, how many
Tom
parties
Hanks
do you go
got
to?
it instantly.
How many parties do you go to?
Now, none.
Yeah, you don't go. If you don't go to mass gatherings, like your chances of actually contracting
But,
this
like-
are very small.
But I still see people, right? Like, it's just is the part of my that's rude. That
I think the
implies that
group. I mean, as a
people
group, it would be
remember us.
interesting. It would be an interesting exercise to like I never go to a bar. I don't go to bars when there's no COVID.
Yeah.
Right? I don't like going to the mall. I'm kind of like
I like them all though.
misanthropic recluse. Like if I had my way, I think I would enjoy like living in the woods by myself. I'm like a hermit.
I feel like that's why I go to the mall. You get to be out in nature, right? And then
I don't go to sporting events. I don't like crowds at all.
Yeah.
I don't like waiting in a line. Like if I have to wait in a line, I will if there's like some great restaurant
Uh-huh.
or whatever, something that's awesome and I have to wait in a line, I will go to the crap restaurant if that means I can eat now.
Even if you haven't been to the.
I don't care. I don't care.
Interesting.
It doesn't matter how good something is. Now, if my wife really wants to go there, and that's why we're there. I'll have to wait. But if it's just me and I get to decide, I'm not waiting. I'm not I don't care what it is.
Yeah. Food.
Anything, coffee. It's like, okay, we have this Starbucks. Like, I will not wait in a Starbucks line while some idiot orders 25 frappuccinos.
So do you just give up the coffee and walk away?
Yeah, I'm just like,
No more.
well, I won't
coffee?
even order. Like, if I see somebody, if I see a big line or something,
Yeah.
I'm out.
You're like, is it like I'm gonna go to a different place, or is it like coffee's off? I no longer.
Well,
want
no,
coffee?
I'll definitely get coffee. But I mean, there's so many places to get coffee that
Yeah.
you
Just go across the
go to the
street.
front. Yeah, there's usually like 4 Starbucks in every like shopping center anyway, between the Safeway, the actual Starbucks, you know, and then some other thing. There's like a Pete's somewhere or whatever. Or there's just somebody that has coffee, you know, like a Subway sandwich shop or something.
The guy with a Keurig machine on the subway.
But with what?
Keurig machine?
A Keurig machine, yeah, that'll do. Or I'll go home and make my own damn coffee.
Yeah.
So like if you, I suspect that a lot of jiu-jitsu people are like me.
Old.
Old, no, people are not old. I'm probably the old, am I the oldest person?
No.
Oh, Gil's probably older than me.
Gil's older.
Gil's older.
Like 2 years, right?
Maybe. You're lucky I can't kick your ass.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I'll be honest.
but I think a lot of people are like in our group or in our group of students, whatever, are probably not as antisocial as I am, but probably not running around sporting events and large groups of people, right?
Probably.
I mean, you know, I guess there are probably some people who like to go to bars more than I do, but
I enjoy a good bar.
oh, I hate
It's
bars.
been a while though.
I hate having to like get up to the bar, like you gotta fight your way to the bar, especially this crowded bar. And then you gotta like flag the bartender down. And then you gotta like take the tray or the drinks, you gotta bring it back, probably gonna spill it on yourself or somebody
You
else.
have a tray.
And it costs,
You're at a bar with people.
well, whatever, you know what I mean?
You're
Well-
like going to places with friends and then like talking to them, kind of drunk.
And it's loud, and you can't even talk at a bar. You can't even really talk
Go
to
to a
people.
different bar.
So then you gotta pay like $15 for a beer.
Oh, yeah. That
That's
never happens to
stupid.
me either.
Well, you get free beers? Yeah, no one's giving you free beers, my friend.
What? I used to work at bars. Like you just go and then you hang out with the people who are there working there.
I don't have time to hang out with like bar ruffians and, you know,
I mean,
I have
if-
response. I'm a
if
father.
I'm
I'm a
gonna-
responsible member of this community.
If I'm going to go to a place to drink, I'm going to go to the place where they give me free drinks. And
Fair enough. No, I'm not. I have no quarrel
So
with
it's just,
that.
you know,
I'm just saying that like when I go to the bar, I don't get comped at most places I go to. So I'm not getting free beer. And like the bartender's not like, hey Rich, what's up? Here's your free beer. They're like, what do you want? You know? Who are you? I can't hear you. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't have any. I can go home. I can get my own beer for like $1.
Yeah, but then you have to drink it at home.
That's fine. I prefer being at home.
Yeah, that's good. That's probably for the best.
I don't have to drive anywhere.
It's better that you prefer being at home than at a bar. That's,
You think at
that's
this
good.
point in my life?
I think for most people that's a good thing. I don't know though. It's weird with COVID. Like I haven't been out to a bar and I haven't drank for so long. It's gonna like I almost feel like I don't know what I'm gonna do when things open back up, right? Because like I'm so separated from like that as a
Yeah, you should just stop. Don't do it.
like a Friday night kind of thing.
Like there is no good reason to go to a bar. None.
I don't have any kids.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Going to bars is bad. You should just not go to bars.
What else can you do? Where else can you
Read a
go
book.
at 11 p.m.?
Read a book.
I can do that during
Watch a
the week.
movie.
I can do that during the week. You gotta do something on like Friday, Saturday night at 11 o'clock.
Go learn how to dance. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right?
Can you do that at any place that doesn't serve alcohol? At 11 o'clock at night?
I don't know why you have to. You should be in bed. You
That's
should be
a
resting
good
11 o'clock at
reason
night.
to go to a bar. You just name it and you go dancing. That's a good one.
Or you can just at 11 o'clock I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
10 o'clock I'm ready to go to bed. So
I'm more of a
I don't even know why.
I'm a midnight one kind of guy.
A what?
Midnight to one kind of
Yeah,
guy.
I used to be a night owl, and then
Really?
then I had kids, and so like that now is not a thing.
Yeah, see, I don't have kids, so.
Yeah, but you should still. I'm trying to think. I used to get a lot of work done, like between, like when everyone was sleeping. I used to work.
Yeah.
You know, like that's like a prime. No one calls you. You know, everyone's asleep. There's no one to bother you.
Yeah.
If you can maintain your focus from 11 till 5 or whatever,
Yeah.
like you can get a lot of work done. I used to get a lot of work done.
Yeah, like I went to college too, but then we're talking about like after.
Even as when I was a lawyer, it was like after 7, everyone stops calling you, and you're able to work. I mean, I would work till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then, but I didn't have to show up to work till 10
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's nice.
So I would train in the morning, and then go to work. But you get a lot of stuff done when you're not out boozing. And the thing is because you go and you drink, and then you wake up and you're hungover,
Yeah.
and you're a mess.
My favorite thing.
So
was
then you can't
always-
even work the job you're supposed to be working.
You go out and then do your thing until the bar closes like 2, and then you go home and then you just stay up till morning training.
Here's an interesting theory or a thought exercise for you. Imagine how much time you would have to actually do positive things if you were not spending 4 hours, even like 2 nights a week, drinking
Man.
and smoking and
And
engaging whatever degenerate behavior goes on along with those things. Just think where your life would be. Just think and be like, where would my life be if
But
I
then
didn't
there
waste so much
would
time
be
and
nobody
money?
around here to be like, hey, you shouldn't do that, and I've got a good reason why. Let me tell you this story. You've got knowledge that you've learned from books. Like you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. I earned my knowledge through blood. I experienced a lot of things, and you could say that the time that I spent wasn't positive, but I will say that it was education.
It was education. It's a different kind of education. Yes. Yes. It's fine. We all have our vices. I play a lot of Hearthstone. That's not exactly a useful
With going out
thing.
I used to really like to actually go to the bar and read.
Yes, you're a weirdo. That is totally weird. That like defeats all purposes.
Well, what's nice is you can drink, but drinking isn't the focal point of the activity, which for me is an issue. Like if I go to a bar to drink, then it's like I'm going.
You're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, it's not good. So like to go to a bar and like to have, or I would go and journal, or I would like work on like my jiu-jitsu journal or whatever. Like could do this thing, and I could be a little bit creative, and people would normally leave me alone. Like maybe
Yeah, because they think you're a serial killer.
but it would be places where I worked, so like people would
So they
recognize
still
me,
know you.
they say hi, and then they leave me alone, usually,
Right.
which is nice. And it was just like a place where I could be and
Where everybody knows your
people-
name.
Yeah, it's like that kind of.
I don't
It's,
get the reference.
I've watched Cheers before.
All right. Just checking.
And yeah, I don't miss it, but it was nice at the time, I don't know, 'cause I was new in town. I didn't have a lot of friends, so it was just a place that I would go to because I was working there on the weekends and I knew people and
It was your
Yeah.
social. It was your social thing. That's true. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
it's not ideal, but
No.
learned a lot. Learned a lot.
All right. Let's see if we got anybody on the chit chats.
I don't know what happened to my YouTubers. I'm a hermit. I am a hermit. I'm definitely not as pretty as Kevin, thank you. Play games, yep. What? Oh, Butthole Against Humanity. I don't even know what that means. I know what Cards Against Humanity is, but I don't think I want to know. Is there a way for me to delete this comment?
No, that has a background. I invented a game called Fiery Buttholes Against Humanity.
Uh-huh.
And we all played it one night, and we all learned a lot about each other.
I bet you did. All right, guys. I'm sorry you all had to hear that. I don't know what happened to the Facebook people. I wonder if anyone's on Facebook watching. I doubt it.
Oh, this is weird.
This is weird. Let's see if this... Well, we're on a big delay, I think. Oh, wait a minute. What happened? This is back when you hurt yourself. I think you broke our Facebook feed.
I'm stuck.
Are you all right there? What are you doing? Do you need help? Oh, no, there you go.
Oh my god. I got it.
Was that you right there? Oh, yeah, that was you. All right, we're going to sign off. What's our word of the day?
Day drinking.
Day drinking is the word of the day. Code word. All right, you got it. Day drinking. It's good seeing all you guys and listening. Not Stop using that term on my chat.
Fiery
You're gonna get me.
bubbles.
You're gonna get me deplatformed. I'll see you guys mañana. Is mañana the right word?
Mañana means either tomorrow or in the morning, so.
So no, is what you're trying to say. All right.
It's a word that is 2 words.
Where's my outro? We need some music, Kevin. Can you record some music for me?
I mean, I could bring in my lyre and play it.
Yeah, but I wanna record some lyre music.
Oh my gosh.
All right, say goodbye, Kevin.
Goodbye.
This concludes our broadcast day.